Boost! Roll!
People who think they are really tough and special and boast all the time. Also, don't you just hate those people who talk about pointless stuff that they really should keep to themselves? What? Why are you looking at me like that?
There's a face I don't recognize. Welcome. It's always exciting to... Here's a key to the last... I sent you here. Well, it's... This is... This... But that's odd. My letter makes no mention of what caused the disaster. So the dwarves' law is real, after all. Just as we always suspected. But you know who broke it? Who was the culprit? You? But why? What did you do? I see. Well, it seems you failed. But you've been given a second chance, and I trust you won't make the same mistake again. But you must persist. I need you to do a favor for me. No? What do you mean, no? Don't you realize you're in just as much danger as the rest of us? Look, don't think you're getting out of here alive without my help. I expect you'll come around to my way of thinking, once you realize that. Now get out of my citadel, and come back once you're willing to see sense.
Fine? Strong!
What do you want? Get out of my face, milk drinker. My problem is that I'm the only one around here whose head isn't buried in the sand. That's my problem. I mean, everyone acts like nothing's wrong, but we're one stupid mistake away from being wiped out, like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming, whatever that is. And when it hits, it's every man for himself. You've been warned. I don't know, but did you ever get the feeling these statues are watching us? Like they're waiting for something? I don't like it. If I did, I wouldn't be standing here listening to you. What about it? Not my problem. It's not for sale. Nope. This is the only one like it in the whole city. Oh, well in that case, you still can't have it. Let me be clear. The only way you'll get this armor is if you peel it from my corpse. Not going to happen, maggot. Because you know, and I know, that the first blow that gets landed is going to get us all killed. You're not that stupid. Uh-huh.
Hello, neighbor. Bye for now. What are you doing here? Are you going to leave, or am I going to have to throw you out? For the last time, get out!
What do you want? Bye.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
A big mistake.
there's something you want. Are you saying you don't trust me? Fair point, actually. I wouldn't trust me. I'm glad. That's
My letter.
You there? Where did you come from?
What are you talking about? I've never met you. You're a strange one, aren't you? Now, are you going to tell me why it looked like you just came out of the Jarl's private lake house? Yeah, well, just make sure you don't get lost in anyone else's home. Live by our laws here, and we'll all get along just fine. Well, if you don't want to talk to me, at least go and see Jarl Tellus up on the top floor. And say for all if you have any questions.
Sweetheart, we'll have plenty of time to get to know each other. Once... Have you seen Rygus? Walking around in that shiny armor of his all paranoid, like those dwarven statues are going to spring to life any minute. You want to hear about little old me? Aren't you adorable? But wouldn't you rather hear what I know about everyone else around here? Go on. Ask me. Only one way out of this city, and that's through the bottom of a mug of moonshine, if you get me. Solve all your problems. At least for a while. But then again, some folks will overdo it. Ulrin, the Dunmer fellow, can't miss him. Hit the drinks pretty hard after his wife, Maisie, disappeared. Just sits there, night after night. Poor guy. Wish I knew what happened to her. Caught lots of people talking, but nobody seems to know anything. Odd. Come and visit me again anytime you like.
I trust you're on your way to sleep.
Newcomer. You should head on up to the Citadel. Make yourself known to the Jarl. Ah, yes. Most dwarven armor you see these days is quite badly worn. But this piece is still perfect, after thousands of years. It also seems to have some magical properties. It should protect you from the harmful energy down in the tunnels below the city. It all but killed Brandis when he went down there. But he didn't have a full set. If you can get down there safely, let me know what you discover. Time travel. You know, as it happens, I do. It was a great obsession of mine for years after my wife passed. I thought if I could go back, I gave up on that idea a long time ago. But recently the Jarl has asked to see my research notes. How strange that you should now take an interest too. Can I ask what the nature of your interest is in this unusual subject? know what to say to that. How can I put this charitably? Perhaps you're tired and emotional and need some rest. But I always enjoy discussing my theories with a receptive mind, so I'll humor you. What did you want to ask? For argument's sake, if you found yourself in that position, you'd have only two options. To live out your days in the past, or force a paradox. A paradox, you see, would involve changing the past so as to prevent the events which caused you to travel back in time in the first place. But you'd be taking a big risk by doing that. Who knows what the consequences would be? Some say that whatever you do, it will lead you right back to the future that took you back in time in the first place. An eternal loop, if you will. But me, I believe that creating a paradox should fling you back to your original time, having changed the past for you and everyone else. Well, let's say for argument's sake that you really have traveled here from the future. You could create a paradox in a few different ways. Essentially, you could do anything that would remove your means or motivation to return to the past. For example, you came here to achieve some goal. Achieving that goal would mean you will never have been motivated to come here. A paradox. Or, if the thing that allowed you to travel back in time is still here, as a past version of itself, you could simply destroy it, I suppose. That would mean, of course, that you will never have been able to travel back in time. Another paradox. But doing so could have terrible consequences. But if you really are from the future, as unlikely as that is, telling me or anybody else what happens next could have disastrous consequences too. I think it's best if we talk about something else. Well, the dwarves who built this city left inscriptions in the citadel, which translate to, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." My research leads me to believe that if a single member of our community sins, it'll trigger an event, killing us all. I believe such an event occurred some years ago, which is why Metellus found the city littered with burned corpses. But to this day, there are many questions we simply don't have answers for. How is the dwarves' law still being enforced? How does it work? And we may never know, as long as nobody attacks or steals from anybody else. Until we know more, we all need to be on our best behavior. That is the sun under the ground. Or at least that's how it's referred to in the dwarven text we've managed to translate. I must confess, I haven't the faintest idea of how it works. But it seems to be giving us light and allowing us to grow crops, even under the ground. Of course, if it ever stops glowing, for whatever reason, we'll all be in quite a lot of trouble. But don't concern yourself with such dark thoughts. I'm sure we have nothing to worry about. My story? What a strange question. You presuppose that my life is a simple linear sequence of events which can be summed up in a verbal narrative? Well, that's nonsense, of course. First, most of it was so long ago I barely remember. Second, you would have to assume that the account I give you is biased heavily in my favor, and is therefore quite unreliable. And finally, my story is really much less interesting than this mysterious place. Now, do you have any sensible questions, or can I get back to work? Well, why didn't you say so? I researched dwarven history and technology, and I'm originally from Kragenmoor in Morrowind. Any other questions? Now that's an interesting question. I personally don't know any way out, no. However, I have a theory. It's more of a hypothesis, really. My thinking is that if there was a way out of here, the dwarves who built this place must have known about it. True. But we can learn all sorts of things about them from what they left behind. Inscriptions, architecture, relics, statues. And while I've discovered many things here, there are some parts of the city I haven't been able to get to. I'm most interested in the palace, above the lake. Unfortunately, it's sealed up tight. Only one man ever managed to enter, and he never came out. That was Narnibus, and we haven't heard from him in years. Strange fellow. I believe he was looking for the secrets of the dwarves too. If you could find a way in there, I'm sure it would tell us a great deal about this place. Who knows what secrets we could uncover? Very well. Come back if you think of any questions about something you discover.
Welcome, newcomer. I trust you've spoken with only the finest clothes in town. See you again soon, I hope. I'm Habik. I live out back with my wife, Miranda. We used to live in solitude, but, we had to leave. Found this place by accident, like most. The Jarl needed someone to mind the store. So I volunteered. Doesn't make any money, of course. Not enough customers. The Jarl says he likes to keep us busy and out of trouble. But of course, he and all his cronies in the Citadel never seem to lift a finger. Our son was working at my stables outside the city. He was alone when he had a visit from some Imperial, a cousin of the High King. This Imperial thought he'd just take one of the horses as a tithe. Guess he didn't think a 12-year-old boy was going to stop him. But Limar wouldn't stand for it. And as the thief rode off, my son managed to shoot an arrow into his shoulder. But I wasn't there at the time. I came back from the market to find my son's body, trampled in the dirt. It was... I can't begin to describe it. I was shattered. I went straight to Torig's court and demanded justice. But I guess that word doesn't mean much to an Imperial. Instead, he seized my stables and told me if I ever set foot in Solitude again, my wife and I would end up the same way as Limar. So we left. Wandered Skyrim for a while, and eventually wound up here. I was hoping this place would be better. I was wrong. I wish it was that simple. But with the Dwarves' Law, everybody here is terrified of doing anything wrong, in case it gets us all killed. The dwarves wrote, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." But we don't know what they meant by sin. Theft. Violence, probably. But maybe they meant all sorts of things, like dishonesty or disobedience to the Jarl. That's what Metellus would like us to think, anyway. So I could ignore his orders? Sure. I could even lead an uprising against him. Gods know most of us are sick of him, but I'd be risking the lives of everyone here, and I just don't want to be responsible for that. So here I am, running my shop. Could be worse. Don't be a fool. That sort of dangerous talk could get us all killed. If you don't believe me, go and talk to Broll. Dunmer fellow. Can't miss him. All right. No, I don't. But I'd wager that if anyone does know a way out, it's the Jarl. But of course, if he told anyone, he'd be ruling over an empty city. All right. Thanks for stopping by.
I trust you're on your way to speak with the Jarl. Name's Castellus Vitus, military engineer of the Imperial Legion. Out of action right now, but don't worry, I'm still in the service. What about you? Excellent. Always a pleasure to see pure Imperial stock joining our ranks down here. Somebody's got to run the place, eh? Now, I expect you'll have questions about how this place runs. Happy to share what I've learned. What did you want to know? Yes, well, not completely. A little. I think I understand the pipes that run all over the place. See, they mainly carry water. There's a single pipe on the top floor bringing water from outside the citadel inside. Water then trickles down through each floor to the lake. But that's not all. It seems the water flowing through these pipes causes these gears to rotate. And when that happens, they somehow create light. The dwarves were brilliant engineers. I doubt I could hold a candle to them. Not that I would need to, with all the lights in this place. Right you are.
Oh, it's you. Hello again. Come and visit me again anytime you
Friend,
like.
you really should be speaking. Fair enough. See you around.
People say you shouldn't be naked in public, but I managed to get a free outfit out of it, so it can.
Hi there. I'm Lukey. I'm what passes for an alchemist and healer around here. I'll be honest, I don't much care for dealing with people, or healing them, but I wouldn't trust anyone else around here with the responsibility, and I guess somebody's gotta do it, right? Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like my neighbors. I don't like anyone. Stupid, untrustworthy, selfish, ugly creatures we humans are. But you know what? At least down here, people are on their best behavior most of the time, what with the dwarves' law and all. I mean, people are still bastards, but at least they have to be discreet about it. Nobody's openly violent, and nobody's ever stolen anything from me. There isn't one. This place is like a firefly trap. One way in, no way out. Could be worse, though. You could be living in bloody Skyrim. All right. See you soon, neighbor.
New in town, huh? Better go and see the Jarl before you start any trouble. Bye.
Oh, I remember the first time I met the Jarl. I was so nervous. See you another time, then.
don't you look fancy? It's a nice try, but you will never outdo me.
You really should go and see the Jarl before we talk.
There's a face I don't recognize. Welcome to my city. I'm Jarl Metellus. It's always... Here's a key to the last... I sent you here. Well, it's... This... But that's odd. So the dwarves' lore is real, after all. You? But... Why? What did you do? I see. Well, it seems you failed. But you've been given a second chance, and I trust. But you must persist. No! What? Look. Now get out of my citadel, and come back once you're willing to see sense.
Fine? Strong! I'm strong!
Strange. I'm not afraid of you. How are you doing? You don't look well at all.
And she was just gone. Didn't say goodbye, didn't take anything with her. And now you people won't stop harassing me, judging me, asking me questions like you think I had something to do with it. Well, I didn't. And nobody cares that I've lost my wife. They just love a bit of scandal, or to find out how they can get out of here too. You're all animals. I swear, I didn't hurt her. I would never. I love her. And if I'd known she was leaving, I would have gone with her. I honestly don't know anything. I keep going over it in my head. Did someone kill her? Surely that would have broken the dwarves' law. Maybe she went wandering into the underground tunnels, or into the palace, and never found her way out. But why would she leave in the night? Not that it's any of your business, but no, I don't think so. She was loyal, I think. She used to write me love letters. I still have one, somewhere. But even if she'd been seeing someone, she couldn't have kept it a secret in a place this small. Rustacia would have known about it for sure.
Fine.
Do you have something to say?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Skyrim might be a cold place with miserable people, but after a few drinks, you don't really notice. Speaking of which, I'm getting a little thirsty.
There she is.
Busy,
Such a pretty thing.
What do you need?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Hello there, young lady.
Oh, hello there, dear. New in town?
Nice.
See you another time, then.
Can I help you with something? See you later. Can I help you with something? Can I help you with something?
Wouldn't it be nice to just talk a little, you and I?
Can I help you with something? Can I help you with something? Can I help you with something?
I think I need